Alright guys, we're going to be doing 3.2G now, equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. This is very similar to 3.2A and C. If you guys remember that, we were given the equations like m equals 5 and it contains the point of 2, 1. And we had to plug this information into y equals mx plus b. So that would look like, 1 would go in for y, so that'd be 1 equals 2 times 5 plus b, and you would solve for b and get an equation of a line. Well, now what we're going to do is talk about parallel and perpendicular lines, and the big difference with that is we know that parallel lines have the same slope. We know that perpendicular lines have inverse slopes. So if we know one of the slopes of the line, we can figure out the other one. So let's go ahead and talk about what I mean. So the first one is I have this equation y equals 2x minus 3. So if I just go to negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and I have a line right here. Now the parallel line is going to have a different y-intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and plot this point at 0, 4. And right there, I already have my y-intercept. And now I want the new, parallel line. And if you remember that, the parallel line is going to have the same slope as my original equation. So I'm just going to go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1. And now I have my new equation of the line. So I'll do that one in purple right here. These two lines are parallel. So it wants to know the equation of the new line. So remember, the slope is going to be the same. So these both have a slope of 2. The difference is the y-intercept. On line A, it was negative 3. Well, on my new one, it's positive 4. I'm just going to write it plus 4. These two lines are my parallel lines. Once again, they have the same slope, but different y-intercept. Now, same idea here. I'm going to graph negative 4, 1. This is my first line. I'm going to do this line in blue. So I go to positive 1, and then I just go up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this line here in purple. Now, it wants you to have a parallel line that contains the point of 0, negative 5. Well, remember, what do parallel lines have in common? They have the same slope. So I'm going to have a slope of negative 4, so I'm going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over. I drew this wrong. So let's go and take one step back. I apologize. My slope was negative 4. So from here, I would go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the right one. 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right one. So your line would have looked something like this. Okay. Now that we have that line, let's go ahead now and look at the parallel lines. Remember, they have the same slope. So we go to negative 5, and then I'm going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. From there now, I can draw my parallel line. I'm going to do that in red. Remember that these lines should not intercept. They are parallel, so they're going to have the same slope. And they're going to be very similar, but they're never going to intersect each other. Okay? So that's what parallel lines are. So the equation of this line, I need to look at my y-intercept. And they're going to have the same slope, so it's going to be y equals negative 4x minus 5. All right, same idea now, guys. Hopefully we're seeing the hint of the y-intercept is 7. So that is going to be my b value. But let's go ahead and first graph in orange y equals 1/2 plus 4. So I'm going to go to positive 4. That's my starting point. I'm going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And there I'm going to have my first line right there. Now the parallel line now, I'm going to go to positive 7. I'm going to do that in blue. And then from there, I'm going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And then I'm going to draw that line. We'll do that in pink. And same idea. I want you to notice that these have the same slope, so therefore will not intersect. So the equation of this line now, since they're parallel lines will have the same slope. But what is going to be different is the y-intercept, which is that plus 7. All right. Now I have y equals 4x. Now there is no there's no y-intercept shown, so that's going to be plus 0. So here we have a plus 0, and then from there I'm going to go up 4 over 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So there's the equation of my line right here. And now I want to go to my second point, which is 3 comma negative 3. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, and then down 1, 2, 3. So right here where it says line B, this is a second line. It's a different line just like all the others. But since the lines are parallel, I'm going to have the same slope. So from there, I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. And now I can draw my parallel line, which is right here. Now I want you to notice, by just looking at this graph, looking at the green line, let's see, make it a little better. Yeah, looking at the green line, can we tell what the y-intercept is? And right now we can't. We just know that the slopes are the same, but we can't tell what it is. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to solve for it. So hopefully, guys, you notice on 4, I don't know what my b value is. I don't know what it is. But we're going to use the method that we learned 2 lessons ago to actually solve for it. So let's go ahead and look at this. It says find an equation of a line B which is parallel to line A and passes through 2, 3. So first thing what I need to do is what you always want to do is find the slope of line B. That's the very first step. So the slope of line B is parallel, so they are the same. So I know the slope to line B is negative 3. Now I'm given a point. So really quickly, it says I have 2 lines. These lines are parallel. I know this slope right here is negative 3, so I know the slope here is going to be negative 3. I also know that this point consists of 2, 3, which is located on my second line. So when I plug that into the equation, I'm just going to plug this in for y and this in for x. So this is going to look like, now when I plug everything in, 3 is equal to negative 3 times 2 plus b. Remember, parallel lines, the b value is what's different. So that's going to look like 3 equals negative 6 plus b. And then you're just going to add 6 to both sides to get b is equal to positive 9. Therefore, the equation of the line is y equals negative 3x plus your b value, which we solved for, which is positive 9. So once again, they both have the same slope because they have because they're parallel lines, but the difference is they have a different y-intercept, and that's what we're solving for. So let's go ahead and do this one again. We have a different one. It's parallel. What do we know about parallel lines? They have the same slope. So for line B, I already know that the slope is 1/3. So now what I need to do is I need to find the y-intercept. And I know on line B, the second line, that this is my x and this is a y that I can plug into my equation. The equation is going to look like 2 is equal to your slope, which is 1/3, times x, which is negative 6, plus your b value. When I simplify that, I'm going to have 2 equals negative 6 over 3 plus b, which is going to be 2 equals negative 2 plus b. I'm going to add 2 to both sides to get my b value is equal to 2, my b value is equal to 4. So now if I take my slope and I take my b value, the equation of this line is going to be y equals 1/3 x plus 4. So there we go right there. So I would like you to pause this one and try it on your own, and then double check your answer, and then we'll go from there. So from here, guys, you should have an answer of some sort. Please check it with mine. So the first thing which we want to do is make sure that we are dealing with parallel lines to have the same slope. So I know the slope for the second one is negative 1/2. Now I'm going to take this x and this y to plug it into my second equation to line B to solve for my b value. That's going to look like negative 9 is equal to negative 1/2 times my x value, which was given on the point, which is negative 4. I'm going to use that to solve the b value. Now I'm going to have negative 9 is equal to negative 1/2 times negative 4. Negative times a negative is a positive, and 1/2 of 4 is 2. From there, I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides to get b is equal to negative 11. So now I have my slope, which was the same as my line A, and I have my b value, which is negative 11. So the equation of the line, which I'm going to write in purple, is y equals negative 1/2 x minus 11. So these are my two lines that are parallel. I want you to notice they have the same exact slope, but they have a different b value. All right, same one. I want to let you try this one on your own, so please pause it and then answer it when you're done. So here we have a parallel line. Parallel lines, remember, have the same slope. So if line A is 4/5 and the two lines are parallel, meaning they're going to have the same slope, the slope B is also going to have a slope of 4/5. So now all I have to find is the b value, which is the different piece. So I'm going to take this x and this y and plug it into the equation. That's going to look like negative 2 is equal to 4/5, so that's the slope, times the x value, which is give you, which is 10, plus b. The equation is going to look like negative 2 equals 40/5 plus b. 40/5 reduces to 8. I'm going to minus 8 on both sides to get b is equal to negative 10. All right, so from there, your equation of a line is y equals 4/5 x minus 10. Really quickly, we keep saying this, but these are my two parallel lines. I want you to notice they have the same slope, but what is different with parallel lines is the b value. Okay, so now let's go ahead and graph these. It's going to be the same idea. It says, let's double check. For instructions, you want to draw perpendicular lines. You remember perpendicular lines have inverse. So if we have a perpendicular line that is 2/3, the perpendicular line slope will be negative 3/2. Remember, the slopes are inverses. So if you have a slope which is negative 4, the inverse of that, or the perpendicular of that, is going to be 1/4. Okay, that's going to help us find our graph our equations. So the first one, it says graph 4x plus 9. So I'm going to go up to 9. I can't go up 4/1, so I'm actually going to go down 4/1, down 4/1. And now here I can make my equation of a line, like that. Now the second step is the perpendicular line. So it says start right here at 4, negative 7. So I'm going to go over 4, and then I'm going to go down 7. So 5, 6, 7. And what we want to do is the inverse slope. We want to do a perpendicular slope. So if we have the slope here, to my line B, the perpendicular slope is going to be 1/4. And remember, it has to be the opposite sign. Since this is positive, this is going to be negative. So I'm going to go down 1/4, or you can also go up 1/4. So now that you have your lines, your points, you can go ahead and connect the lines, and it should look like this. Now these are my two perpendicular lines. You want to look for your y-intercept, which is this point right here. So the equation of the line is y equals an inverse slope, which is negative 1/4 x. And you want to look at your y-intercept, which is negative 6. All right, so I want you to try the next one on your own and see what you guys get. This will also conclude the first video of 3.2G, so don't forget to watch the second part.